Now, violence scenes flared up again in different areas of Johannesburg, including Westbury and Diepsloot. An elderly man and a teenager were hospitalized after being shot in Westbury. In Diepsloot, a task team would be deployed to address issues plaguing the community. Disgruntled residents are concerned by the rampant crime in the area. They want President Cyril Ramaphosa to address them. Let's discuss this now with criminologist Professor Kholofelo Rakubu. Thank you so much for your time, Prof. We do appreciate it. It seems every few weeks or months you and I have a discussion about how serious crime is, and nothing seems to really be done about it. Let's just start off in Diepsloot. We saw this previous week from last week Sunday night already with pockets of protests erupting because community members are just tired of no police visibility. This is not a new problem, though. We've seen how previously the police indicated that the Amaberete would be deployed there to make sure that there's more police visibility, but nothing seems to be done, and communities still live in fear. Sorry, Prof, can I just ask you to unmute yourself?
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This is not new. It's very common in South Africa. The level of violence and the protest in particular are just the preferred methods of to address grievances, to reflect on the level of frustration and unresponsiveness of our government. If now the police in particular have promised to do something about it and nothing has been done, that shows that I don't think they truly understand what they're supposed to do there, or they don't have political will to even attend to issues pertaining to a community's grievances. And their level of violence, it's due to frustration, and that is the only method they know to get attention of unresponsiveness of government, unresponsive government and its executive. Because history tells us that for in South Africa, when you need to be heard, a smoke calls. And that has been the common practice. And South Africa is not even learning when it comes to those, because as much as it costs South African economy, they still don't attend to triggers that can lead to level of high level of violence during protest. So we're still going to experience this. And the minute government is unresponsive, community is vulnerable, because not everybody who participates in those protests has an interest in the goodness of the community. That is an opportunistic space for opportunistic criminals to also victimize the very same vulnerable, frustrated communities. So a lot has to be done, because as much as they're crying about high level of crime in their communities, poor community relations, unemployment, inequality, poverty, or level of social disorganization, that should be enough for our government to respond, because now they should also understand that kind of frustration, it's what can also invite or tarnish the image of the country. A lot has been lost during protest, and it's common that infrastructure will be damaged, and infrastructure has been damaged and not much has been done about it. So it's like we're moving in a circle. Another community is learning from Westbury, is learning from Diepsloot, and they're going to do the same. And South Africa is always going to to lose, or trying to catch up, or trying to rebuild. So when are we going to have stability as per the National Development Plan? Because every year it's South Africa trying to rebuild, but they know what they're supposed to do. Just be responsive. Just deliver on the promises. Policing, make sure you have enough resources to attend to safety issues in Westbury or Diepsloot. They have, as community members, they understand exactly their frustrations and issues, and they communicate. Then you don't plan according to what they highlighted as a problem. So what do you expect them to do? So frustration aggression theory tells us that definitely they are going to do what they are doing right now.
And I mean, a number of surveys have also indicated that it's only about to get worse because there's a lack of service delivery. Promises have been made but not kept. I want to get your perspective and thoughts on what the Provincial Police Commissioner General Elias Mawela said to me yesterday, in fact, when we asked him what's being done to deal with the issues in Diepsloot and in Westbury. Every week there's a shooting. It always involves a child. You know, what is going to be done about this? As the Provincial Police Commissioner, surely there's immense pressure to sort this out. And he made a comment about the fact that all stakeholders need to be involved. And it's not just the responsibility of the police. The police are under-resourced and they just cannot deal with everything that's happening in the province. Whose responsibility is it to sort this out, though, Prof? Because, you know, as a citizen, you look at the police for safety, but they are under-resourced, some are corrupt, and they're just not able to handle what's actually going on.
Definitely it's not solely the responsibility of the South African Police Service to deal with crime, because there are factors beyond the police that perpetuate the level of crime. It requires a holistic approach. Imagine the police running after a hungry person or trying to stop a hungry person from stealing, when there's social development, when now the youth is left abandoned in communities without options, and there's high level of poverty, then the police, for as long as they can plan, as long as other critical departments don't play their part, we are still going to experience high level of criminality. And this now, the level of crime also affect other sister departments, because if the police are failing to stop people from committing crime, there will be a lot of people in prison, and our prison system, correctional facilities, are not made to deal with the number of people to be rehabilitated or the number of perpetrators. So it is everybody's responsibility. You talk of municipalities. If we go to Diepsloot, for example, and we check into the municipal IDP, we must find how much they budgeted for when it comes to ensuring safety, because it is also their responsibility. We check into community safety plan, or has there been a community safety audit to tell us the different dynamics that persist in Diepsloot, so that can assist SAPS to plan accordingly. Because now I guess they're policing as if they're policing any other community, only to find that these particular communities have difficult challenges that other communities don't have. So this poor planning now is everybody, community itself. It is their responsibility to also take responsibility when it comes to issues of safety. Functionality of relevant structures. We have problems where now there's political influences within the community safety forums, and now community members don't even participate because now it serves the agenda of a particular political party. So a lot has to be done, but the police alone cannot do it. It is everybody's responsibility. You name it, Department of Education has a role to play them. Social development, issues of poverty. Government must be responsive in their plans. They must implement strategies they were meant to implement. There are challenges in implementing the National Development Plan in particular. Also talks to the level of violence. And now our police system as well was not initially designed to deal with this level of crime. It needs at some point an overhaul so that it be on par with the level of criminality. This is not 1994. Things have changed. So they must be on par. However, even if they try to plan, their plan will be dysfunctional because somebody's not doing what they're supposed to do somewhere.
Sure. Prof, I just want to ask you one last question in terms of what we're seeing happening in Nomzamo and Soweto. We do know that the NPA was not able to continue with its prosecution against those that were arrested in connection with that Nomzamo tavern shooting, because there's clearly no prospect of continuing with that matter. The police minister seems to be having a very similar tactic or approach in whenever violence erupts. We saw it in Diepsloot, we saw it in Soweto, we even saw it in Westbury, where he says the Amaberete are going to be deployed to have more boots on the ground and to deal with the matter. I remember extensively last year when the minister had indicated that the Amaberete will be deployed in Soweto, and you hardly found them. If you did, they didn't really make a difference. And you know, what's the point of constantly announcing that the Amaberete will be deployed in Diepsloot, Westbury, and in Soweto, because the problems still persist? Why do you think the minister keeps going back to that same tactic of the Amaberete are going to be deployed, hoping that it will calm the situation down?
That is because I don't think they reflect enough on the possible mechanisms in place that can assist the situation. When now you talk of Amaberete, that is now situational, that is short term. And the minute Amaberete now leaves, then we go back to square one. Can't you now critically assess situation to now understand what is required on a long-term basis? Because you can't bring them for 3 months and then you take them and crime level. So that is evident enough to say we need long-term plan. And crime stats keeps on going up. That should be enough evidence to advise or assist the minister to plan accordingly. For now, we can't even afford temporary measures. We need permanent measures. Now, with it's very sad now that the Nomzamo case cannot be finalized or justice will not be served. They should tap into what causes that, because it doesn't mean somebody knows what happened and somebody's just not talking. Then we can go back to poor community-police relation or fear when it comes to whistleblowing. Somebody knows who did what and when. Now, due to lack of protection of whistleblowers, are you willing to tap into that space knowing you are not safe, or knowing that information that you're about to share might be recklessly handled and your life might be in danger? So a lot has to be tightened up so that similar cases such as the Nomzamo one don't happen, because now if NPA has reported the way it did, somebody's going to take a decision to commit similar crime, and excellently so, then we will not have, justice will not be served. So what is required from the minister? Plan accordingly. You understand the level of criminality, but you can't you can't come to us and tell us of short-term plans. We don't need short-term plans. People are killed on a daily basis. I hear even in Diepsloot, they are expecting presence of Amaberete, then situation will be calmer. That cannot be. Can we, for a change, receive, according to the socio-economic conditions or the level of crime or the vulnerability of the very same community, can we receive a different strategy? That will be what? A long-term strategy.
Yeah, I mean, it's very worrying to see what's happening in our communities, but the concern also is that it's going to continue happening. Thank you so much for your time, Prof. We do appreciate it. That was criminologist Professor Kholofelo Rakubu speaking to us about the pockets of unrest we are seeing in various parts of our country.